Well, I bought my first Japanese whiskey this week because I thought I was going to be celebrating having a Kioke all done and ready to move on to my next project in order to get started with soy sauce. But I'm sitting here with the remains of one failure and in front of another one. And I got to say, I'm pretty irritated right now, but this is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you'll need to learn from your failures, and that's where we're at right now. So let me walk you through how I failed at making a Kioke twice. So if you don't know what a Kioke is, it's a special vessel that is used in traditional Japanese soy sauce making in order to ferment soy sauce in. And it's a cedar bucket with no glue and no finish, and it just sits in there open fermenting, and it goes for like a year. So I was gonna make a Kioke in order to ferment soy sauce. It's part of a whole larger project that I'm doing where I'm gonna make all the other equipment I need to make soy sauce. So these failed for different reasons. This one failed because it didn't have the right quantity, but I'm gonna show you later on in this video how I made this one with my buddy Charles. And this one, it's watertight, it works, it looks really cool. It just won't hold the recipe that I'm gonna be making. I need to make more soy sauce than what this can hold, but this is still really cool, and it's totally functional. This one is not functional at all, and this was supposed to be the easy one that was fast because I made this one and things didn't go out so well, and then I was going to make this one and it was going to be straight. I was going to do straight and not angled out, no taper, and we were going to be all good and quick. And what happened with this one is I was rushing. I wanted to be done. I wanted the video to be out. I had a couple hours and I was going to crank it out and get it done. So let this be a lesson to you. When you're rushing, especially around sharp tools or with things that are important to get right, you end up wasting way more time when you have to remake something rather than thinking things through and being patient. So here's to learning lessons the hard way. Okay, that's enough ranting about the failures. I'll walk you through first how I made this Kioke with my buddy Charles. And then I'll walk you through the simplified version that if you're gonna make a Kioke and you wanna avoid some of the headaches that I have, I'll have plans and a link down below to this version because this version is going to be easier for you to make. And now that you learned from my catastrophic failure, you'll be able to do it in the first shot. It won't take you that long. And it'll be very exciting for you to see what a watertight bucket looks like, as it comes together super fast for you because you got to learn from my mistake. Alrighty, so I'm here at my buddy Charles's shop because his is heated and he's a talented woodworker. So this is gonna be delicate. I thought I had to bring in the big guns. I've already created some of these stave blanks that we're going to use by jointing and their faces and the edges and then ripping them on a table saw, cutting the length. But we got to plane off that bad side and get them all at the even thickness, and then we can start to cut in the tapers and the bevels. So let's get the plane. Let's do it. All right, so we've got all these staves down to a consistent thickness and length and width. And then I'm gonna make some jigs that will hold these as they go through the table saw, because we need to add an angle this way so the bucket will taper, and we need to add a bevel to the edges that way they all fit together around and make the bucket.
All right, so to figure out the size necessary for the bottom of this bucket, we've just been doing trial and error, cutting a piece to length and cinching up the bucket. And basically our scrap piece, we're just seeing if it's long enough to meet from two opposing staves. I think we've got the correct length, so now we're going to cut a round bottom on the bandsaw.
Perfect.
Snug.
I think if we chamfer a little bit.
It would. I think we can work.
Show me the inside.
Man, I think we
Yeah, flip it over.
got it.
So here's what I did that was stupid. Now you'll see with these staves, here, let me find a clean one. Okay, cleanish one. I've got these slots cut in, and right now you're seeing them really dirty with flaxseed because I was using that as like a food safe filler material. So that way, if it didn't fully line up the bottom inside that groove, if there were any gaps, this would harden. It would help make the bucket watertight. So I had to cut this groove on the inside for the bottom, so that way we could have that inset, and when the bucket would swell, it would help make a watertight joint. And now I was holding, like you'll see on this one, I'm holding all of these together with steel bands. There's no glue between these. It's just the wood swelling up against these bands that holds everything tight. And so if you see on this one, we cut what's called a dado on that for the band to slide in there. Now, here's where I was rushing and being stupid. I quickly laid in this dado up here, and I said to myself, that's a little too deep. I don't like it that deep. But I already did it to 1. I didn't make a test cut. Now, everything else, I was making test cuts, making sure everything worked, and I caught mistakes every single time I made a test cut. So I don't know why it didn't switch on my brain and go, dude, make a test cut. Before I just, I had like an hour and a half, and I thought I could crank out this bucket, get it done today, get that video out, it'd be awesome. Nope, just, oh, oops, too deep. You know what? It's okay, I'm gonna keep going. So then, instead of also deciding where I wanted the bottom band to go, I said, oh, you know, obviously I'll just flip the piece around and we'll cut for the same distance from the top, same distance from the bottom, we'll make another dado. But if you look at this, it's a pretty deep dado and it's barely above this other one. And so if you look at it, there's a very thin piece of wood that's actually there between these two dados. And I am clamping on right here. And there's gonna be pressure and everything. So as I was clamping on with that band clamp, sure enough, this snapped off because it's just such a thin piece of wood right there. And so now all of these are worthless. Now the bottom is still going to be good if I use the same dimensions for the staves, and I can just remake the staves, and the bottom was a big pain to make, so at least I don't have to do that again, and all I have to do is make staves. But I wanted to have a Kioke ready to go because I have so many projects to make for making soy sauce. I'm going to be making a grinder, Kioke's, fermentation chamber, koji trays. I have to inoculate koji, and then this is all going to sit for like a year. So like there's a lot of work, and I want to get started already because I'm already have a long time to wait before I have to try the soy sauce. And now I'm just pushed back again. It's driving me insane. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you make your own Kioke and you're not discouraged by watching me fail twice. But to be honest, I'm not discouraged. I'm going to make it. It's made my resolution even tougher to get this done. I am going to be taking more time to be careful and to be patient as I make the next one and not just try and crank it out, especially because it's round 3. And like I said, there's plans down below to this version, which the dimensions and everything now are spot on and perfect in there. So hopefully you'll make one. Maybe what I'll do is the next video for the next project I make, I think I'm gonna make the fermentation chamber next. So I'll probably show you some footage of me making the next Kioke in that video when I make the koji tray video. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Till next time.